What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jan Moses back here with just our second My Team podcast here at the Brock Cindy Network. I haven't recorded a pod with this guy in almost 2 months, which is funny because when we went to record what ended up being our first podcast of NBA 2K25, we were both surprised at that point that that was going to be just our first podcast. So there's a lot that we have to talk about, and we're going to try to do as good a job as we usually do to try to keep it concise. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, I'm referring to my partner in crime when it comes to anything My Team, especially anything with regards to our My Team podcast, and that is my guy Harry. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. It's great to be back. I mean, the fact that earlier we couldn't even think when the last time we did this podcast was, even what season we were really in. It's been a while. I feel like normally we would try to do it so often, but I feel like a mix of both of us being pretty busy in our lives and the game being so uninspiring and unmotivating, you know, it has not been a fun, great experience. I feel like all year round, but it is good to be back because I feel like it's fun to kind of hear my thoughts, hear your thoughts on the game, because both positive and negative. I think what's going to be interesting is I think Jan was more negative than I was in the beginning of the year when the game came out, and I
Yeah.
think I've slowly kind of gotten to where Jan is. So I think now we're more on the same page than we were on the first podcast, and definitely more than we were in the beginning of the year when the game came out. So I feel like this is like we're back to the norm, back to us. Like I doubt we're gonna disagree on anything. We're gonna agree on everything pretty much. So, and not that that's the point. I mean, it's always fun when we have different opinions, but I think that for the most part, we're typically on the same page, and I think it's more fun because we get to then rant together on what we don't like.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, I'm glad to be back. I think it's gonna be fun to kind of dive into my team, dive into the season, and kind of see where we're at with the game and where we are going forward.
Yeah. So in our last podcast, Harry and I were originally, obviously, wanting to talk about season one, but because of our schedules and a multitude of other factors, we weren't able to record until about midway through season two, I believe, or like the early portion of season two back in early October, or I guess middle to late October, like the week before Halloween, basically. And so we ended up kind of doing a recap of season one while also giving our thoughts on season two. And we did a draft going over different things that I guess either concerned us or gave us, reasons for optimism. At least that was the plan going in originally. And in our pre-podcast Discord conversation, Harry and I agreed that before we jump into what we want to talk about today, because there really is a lot, I asked Harry what topics were really pressing in his mind, and he had two. And so I want to give the floor to you, Harry. I want you to lead with either one, whichever one you want to lead with first. What are your two topics that are on your mind when it comes to My Team?
Yeah, I'll begin with the auction house.
Okay.
This is something that really drew me into this year's game because I obviously, like I've talked about before, I love sniping. Because I think maybe that I know I just said that we agree on most things, but I think this is one thing that we disagree on. I think that the auction house is a backbone of any good My Team, and I don't think a My Team, because I think at the end of the day, it's a card collecting mode. And the whole point of that is being able to trade cards with other players. So I think when you take out that staple of the game, it kind of takes out a core fundamental, just I guess staple of the mode. So I was obviously really excited for them to bring it back. I thought, while I do agree with Jan that the player market could have been executed a lot better. I think obviously it was just a failure. I think 2K lost money. We lost an enjoyment of the player market. So I think it was just a failure. They had to bring this back. And I think what I was really looking forward to and excited for this auction house, I think Jan was always like the voice of reason, saying like even though we are getting this auction house back, it might not be the auction house we all knew and loved from previous years.
Yep.
And ironically, I think while we all considered the possibilities of price caps and quantity limits and all these different things that Madden started introducing this year, none of that was really the case. We didn't realize that it would be a complete other issue of just them giving us what I call as a fake auction house. Because yes, while someone else could put up a player that I can buy, and I can put up a player that someone else can buy, that's fine. Those are the basics of an auction house. But this is the freedom that we have to set prices. It's never been this limited. And when you take in mind the price odds or the pack odds that are just so low that just limit the supply and demand completely based on what you can get, forcing everyone to be pretty high in price. And then I think what even is the most egregious thing is it's these lock-ins, which I think I'll give credit to 2K. Like it was a brilliant strategy on their part that makes everything pretty much high in value because you're locking in cards for not for a player in previous years, but for a hidden gems option pack, which could give you the opportunity of giving you a way better card than what you're locking in. So you're locking in that, and then you're also making it so you have to lock in the rubies and the lower tier cards. And what they're doing is they're just going to slowly kind of upgrade it as they go. Like now we're locking in for 97s. Soon we'll be locking in for 99s, while the lower tier pink diamonds and diamonds are going to be locked in for a 95. So it's going to be so, it's not like previous years where it's like, oh, pink diamonds are out right now. They're going to be the highest tier, but when opals come out, you can get pink diamonds for cheap. It's not going to be like that at all because while opals are higher than pink diamonds, you would think the pink diamonds would be dropping. We're still going to be forced to be locking in these pink diamonds for the whales to do these lock-ins for a 95, 97. So no matter what, these prices are going to remain elevated. Yes, it might be a little bit lower than what we're seeing now as the newer tiers come out, but they're still going to be high. So I call it a fake auction house because the whole point of an auction house is that we're setting the prices, which is why the player market was such a bombshell on all of us because we no longer had that freedom.
Yeah.
But we really don't have that freedom now when they can put out any card they want and it's going to be high. They can put out a 99 Muggsy Bogues, who is typically like no one wants him. He's the way undersized point guard that doesn't. It's not a meta card by any means.
Yeah.
That card is going to go for over $1 million MT because of these lock-ins. Because you can say, all right, this card sucks, but now I just pulled him from a pack. Now I have the opportunity of locking in a card that's even better. So when you have that in mind, and you also have to keep in mind, the people that are pulling these packs, I don't think MT is as much concern for them because they're spending so much VC on packs every week for every drop 2K puts out. MT is not the priority, so they don't care about putting that card on the auction house to make MT. They're gonna see that shiny lock in, which they're gonna do that. It's gonna limit even more the players that we have in the auction house. So we have the price caps. We have these lock-ins. There's so much that they're doing that's limiting what we're seeing on the auction house.
Correct.
I mean, Jan and I, we joke all the time. Look at the NBA storyline. I think that's the promo where we have emeralds going for like 50 plus K. Like it's just completely absurd. And it's
Awful.
super brilliant and strategic on 2K's part, but it's making it such an unenjoyable experience. Because it's kind of like last year where it got to the point where MT became useless, and that's what it's becoming now. I have over 2 million MT, and I don't get excited by anyone. They put out Pink Diamond KP recently, a card that I hate in real life. Don't get me wrong, as a Knicks fan, but it's a card I like using in 2K. I don't get excited anymore because I know that card is going to go for such an egregious amount of MT that I don't want to spend that. And it's not like I can say, oh, in a few weeks it's going to drop. It's not going to drop. If anything, it's going to get worse because now the card is not in packs. People are still going to want to be locking in those cards. So it's like the prices only go up. I mean, the fact that we have Galaxy Opals out and the Series 1 Amethyst cards are still around, like they fluctuate with the pack drops, but you could still probably get them on a dry day for like 9-10K. Like it's absurd how expensive even these lower tier cards are. So I mean, I know that was a lot, but it's just ridiculous. It makes it's hard to get excited about promos. I was excited for sniping when the game came out, and sniping is just beyond dead because like I said, you pull these cards, they're putting them in lock-ins, and the pack odds are so bad that it makes the odds of pulling a good card where you're going to put it on the auction house so low. So it's just disappointing. And I guess to make my last thought, I admit the auction house is what kind of pulled me in this year. It was like that 2K. It was like that card that 2K had, and they knew they had up their sleeve that they can pull us in. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's like I don't know what they can do next year to pull me in, and I know I say this every year, and they pull me in, but it's like I've seen both hands. I've seen what 2K is going to be like with the player market and
Yeah.
how far that'll go. I've seen what this current model is with the auction house, because I don't think we're ever going to go back to having normal auction house we had in the past. So the only other hand they have is really giving us a good game, which clearly they don't care about. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's disappointing. Like this, I don't see like me being excited for any 2K going forward. I don't see what they can do to grab me in. So yeah, it's just sad where we are right now.
Yeah. I think that was very well said, and I like that you took your conversation of the auction house and you did kind of loop it into the lock-ins for these collections because I think that is a
A
really
huge part of
important
it.
thing. It is a huge part of it, and I think there is a part of that that I want to touch on later when it comes to the lock-ins and what they represent. But if you look at the grand scheme, it's exactly what you said. And I think if you look at what 2K's mission statement was with the player market last year, it was to get a stranglehold on the community to control the prices. That's quite literally what the purpose of the
Yeah.
player market was, right? They marketed it to us as an opportunity for us or a market for us to engage with where supply will never be an issue. But the issue then was that a lot of the cards were pretty expensive. At least, later on in the year, a lot of them were gamble only. And then earlier on in the year, we had cards that were, supposed to be budget tier, like that Amethyst Jason Williams that came out in the very first promo. Amethyst Andrew Bogut, I believe it was the 2K Day promo. And those Amethysts all went for 140K, regardless of how desirable or undesirable they were. The issue now, though, is we're seeing a lot of players that are at pretty high prices, even if you don't think they should be, because to Harry's point, 2K has done a great job of limiting the supply through a multitude of ways, through awful pack odds, through awful rewards, and through these lock-ins, as Harry mentioned. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like 2K, I was so wondering, I was so curious, how are they going to do this awful pacing that they've done all year by giving us pink diamonds to begin the year? And it's because with these egregious lock-ins, they know that, they can give for weeks on end, for months, they can give us one opal every single pack drop for a while. It could be an opal that, it could be, an opal that you don't even care about, which is pretty much what they've been doing. We haven't gotten really an exciting opal yet, I feel like. But they know that that card will still be like Brunson. We love Brunson, Jan and I. We're huge Knicks
Mm-hmm.
fans, but he should not be going for over on an MT, even when the card first comes out. Like it's absurd. Like it's
Yeah.
not a meta
Yeah.
card by any means. But 2K knows it can give us the homeless guy that you see at Dunkin' Donuts every morning that you're scared to even walk by. They know that they can give you that opal and he'll skyrocket in price because it's not the card that you're after. You're after that lock in, which because if they give us it's like if they put out an opal LeBron in packs, he's gonna go for a lot of MT, of course,
Yeah.
but
Which
you
he
don't
is,
have
by
to
the way.
worry
We're
about a
getting Opal
lock in
LeBron
because
next Friday, I think.
yeah, exactly. But it's like you don't have to. It's the double side of the coin because LeBron's going to go for a lot of MT because it's LeBron and it's a great card. But you're not really worried about the lock in because what are the odds of really getting a better pull than LeBron as opposed to doing a Galaxy an Opal like Muggsy Bogues or whatever. That card is going to still go for a lot, not because it's a good card, but because you're bound to get a better card most likely from the lock in. So
Yeah.
they've completely mastered the system and it's just it's hard to get excited for anything because it's going to be an insane price for who. And Jan and I were both very frugal with our MT,
Yeah.
so it's hard for people like us that like even if that's the price that it's going for, it's like if you go to Dunkin' Donuts and all the prices are higher than normal and you see the cheapest donut is for $5, yes, that's the current price it's at, but you don't want to spend $5 on a donut. So it's like, this game was made for the whales. Is essentially what we've been kind of talking about, and Jan's been hitting the point at. This game has, and I'll give credit to you. This is completely your ideology, but they're punishing us for not wanting their awful player market last year. They know what they're doing. The MT rates are bad. The
Yeah.
auction house is bad. They've made sure to make all of us kind of say, "Oh, I miss 2K24, the game that everybody hated, no one really liked besides a minority of people." And it's one thing if the player market was good. It was not good. No one can say it was good. You can say you liked the game, you liked the MT rates, you liked how much there was to do, you liked the agendas, but the player market was not good. So it's one thing to
Hmm.
punish us for not liking something that was good and that was working. It was not working. So they're punishing us for not liking something that sucked, which is what I think is a problem.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I think for me, when I was talking about my decision to come back to my team in the video that I dropped the Monday before the game came out, I'm pretty sure in that video I mentioned how I was concerned with the auction house coming back, that it wasn't just going to be the auction house coming back and it was going to be, you know, the auction house of, of previous years where you had more control and there was more supply, that I felt like it was sort of like a package deal that with the auction house was going to be, all this extra stuff that we've already talked about, the awful lock-ins, the awful pack odds, the awful rewards, all that stuff. I think the analogy that I always threw at you, Harry, whenever we talk about this outside of recordings, is that ex-girlfriend analogy. How you hear that the auction house is like your ex-girlfriend, and you're like so excited because you have all these fond memories of your great times together, and then you see her, and then it's not exactly as it used to be. There's a lot of baggage. We'll just leave it at that. That
But
comes
in
into
the
play.
same comparison, your current girlfriend is also not that great, and she's yelling at you for coming home after work and wanting to watch TV. You know what I mean? It's not a good
No,
relationship.
no, I get
So
that,
it's
but
like
I
the
think
first relationship wasn't great, and you
yes,
kind of miss the other girlfriend that was better. But now this other girlfriend, your ex girlfriend, you're finally back with. She's gained like 70 pounds, and she won't get off the couch all day. She doesn't work. So
yes.
it's like both situations suck. I don't think like yes, you can make comparisons and say I do miss the MT rates in 2K24. I miss the clutch time and I miss the agenda and I miss X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, both modes aren't good my team modes.
No, no, they definitely weren't. I think I just miss, and to be very, very clear, when we're talking about the girlfriends thing, we're talking about 2K24 versus 2K25. If my girlfriend's watching this, I love you. We're not talking about you, I promise. But no, I agree, and I've been very vocal about this. Is while I do miss 2K24 in comparison to 2K25, and we will talk about them, comparing them side by side a little more in depth later on. I do think it's important to note that both of these my teams, for their own reasons, are objectively flawed compared to
Yes.
previous my teams. And I think we are both in agreement on that. I just think 2K24 did work for me in a lot of ways, and I did enjoy that game in a lot of ways. And I think 2K25 on paper was supposed to satisfy what you
Yeah.
wanted, but unfortunately, it has not. Is there
Well,
anything else?
2K24, we can agree that it was. We'll talk about it later, but it was a better game for the grinder. But yes, we
Absolutely,
could just we'll
absolutely.
definitely talk about that more so we can move into my next
Yes, into
topic,
your
I guess.
next topic, which, if you remember it, go right ahead. If not, I have it written down because we did talk about the auction house for like 15, 20 minutes.
No, I do remember. Yes, so I think so. Here's my thing. Similar to how for me it's such a turnoff that I view this game as like a punishment. It makes you not want to play it because you know you're being treated poorly. I've always said this from the beginning in every 2K we've talked about. I don't want to play the game when the effort isn't being reciprocated. I don't want to put the effort into them when they're not putting the effort into me. So, when they said in the beginning of the year we're no longer doing that season playbook, they would be more sporadic. I said, that's one thing. Let's see where this goes. Maybe this means they'll communicate more on Twitter, which the first season or I think maybe it was going into season 2. I actually thought they did a good job of like that day before. Every hour we were getting a new tweet talking about the park rewards, the showdown rewards, hyping up the season reward. I actually enjoy that because I thought it made the day fun. Every hour you were looking forward to the next outlet. This time going into season 3, we had none of that. And yes, I can see the argument. It was Thanksgiving, like maybe they were busy, but they could have done pre-recorded tweets. So I don't think that's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Which every tweet we've talked about is pre-recorded. They don't tweet out live. It's all set at a time. But like it was ridiculous. We had really no idea what was going on this season besides the Bronny James, which you have to spend money on, the
Yep.
season reward, which you can spend money on. they hyped up these Black Friday packs, which is a whole other conversation. That was such a horrendous money grabbing thing.
Yeah.
They did hype up, of course, that if you buy Brawny and you buy the season reward within the weekend, you can do these other agendas and get a legend badge. Like
Yeah.
everything they were hyping up had all to do with money and nothing to do with the actual game. So then to load up this season and it to be a virtual copy and paste from last season, we had a domination with awful rewards. Same thing this year, awful rewards with an undersized player that's not going to make your team by any means. We had the same park and showdown rewards, which were just completely boring. For them to do a copy and paste of that again. Like if you're doing that again, do each his own. Like I did my 250 wins a park last season. I did not want to do that again. Like
Yeah.
it was mentally taxing. And I just really wanted something else. I wanted them to do a ladder for like a breakout or like a salary cap, give us something
Yeah.
new. But nope, it was the same thing. They were already hyping up opals and we're still grinding the park and showdown rewards for a 92 plus, which doesn't make any sense. The rewards are even worse now. Instead of getting two 92 pluses on the way to 250 wins, you only get one. So the whole thing was just upsetting that there's like, to me that's like the biggest example of them not putting in the effort. They don't care enough to tell us what we're getting because they could just copy and paste and they know people are going to spend money. And then the fact that really the main market of this season were those Black Friday packs and the agendas that you can only do by doing players that you can spend money on. Like it was like if you're a grinder and you got on that game and you saw all the stuff there was with the Black Friday, with those agendas, with the content, like I don't know how you could still smile at what we were getting. Like it was there was no bigger slap on the face than that you were not welcomed in this game. This is for the people to spend money on.
Yeah.
And it's sad because, like I said, I was so sick of Park after that last season. I didn't want to do that again. I'm not playing Showdown because, one, I don't think the rewards are nowhere near worth that grind. So I didn't want to do that. And then, like, it just left me with salary cap again. So, I mean, even this season, I'm level 6. I've never been that low in a level a week in the season. I'm always ahead of Jan normally, and Jan is like way ahead of me. Like I'm just so bored of this game, and I don't want like what is there to do? Like I don't. To me, like every season should feel different than the last.
Yeah.
I think this could have been a great opportunity to give a good ladder for like other modes, like I said, breakout, salary cap, but all they cared about was putting it in the modes that force you to spend money on because they know you can't bring budget cards into triple threat, which is what the park, which I hate because it's a whole other conversation, but it took out the fun of being able to do different lineups with instant matchmaking. You have to bring sweaty cards. You can't bring budget cards into showdown. So they made it so this is such a money grab of a season that you can only enjoy by spending money on the game or spending your MT on high expensive cards that are going to be hard and way out of your reach. So, yeah, I mean, long story short, it's just upsetting. I don't know how you could really be excited about this season. Like, there's really just nothing to grind besides salary cap for me. Like, the domination is so uninspiring, so much worse than what we started out with in Dom.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else to do. So it was very sad and eye opening what we started this season with.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm not even going to add anything to that because I agree. And Harry and I we're going to talk about the game modes next. I feel like honestly, Showdown we have nothing to really touch on. You kind of already covered Showdown, and I mean, if there's anything else you want to add to TTO Park, um, I guess now would be a good time to do it, Harry. I mean, you played 250 games of it last season, and I think you basically explained that you just don't want to do it again. Like you didn't necessarily enjoy it, and I just want to make it clear, like Harry is someone who loves 3v3 gameplay. The way I love 5v5 gameplay
from the beginning, from
yes.
the launch of it in 2K. Well, I love Triple Threat in 2K19 and so on, but I love Gauntlet in 2K7. Like that's always been my thing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's always been such that fun casual mode where you can play 3v3 quick games to 21. You can run budget cards. You can run themed lineups. You can run so many different lineups. You add instant matchmaking. You add a ladder board of rewards. You add the ball drop and all these different things where you can get those immediate rewards and also grinding your way up. Like this has been such a slap in the face to anyone who likes that because now there's no instant matchmaking. You have to wait to get on the game, and it's turned into something that's not fun. You can't bring your budget cards. You can't have fun with new lineups because you just have because then you lose your game and then you have to wait time to get a new cord or you have to leave the park and go to a new park. And every game you play is a sweat fest because you don't want to lose your court. I'm not blaming
Yeah.
them for sweating because that's you're being forced to have that mindset, and it goes into why they took out CTO. They don't want you to casually play online. They
Nope.
want you to sweat your ass off and then lose and be forced to buy players either by spending MT or spending VC. So it's heartbreaking because that I think having that and having the auction house and TTO would have at least been a little less worse with everything we've experienced and been treated like this year. But yeah, it's just been sad, and I think it's very validating to me because I think we were the only people that complained about it. You know, when the blog came out, everybody was hyping
Yeah.
this up like it would be
Yeah.
the greatest thing ever. And I said from the beginning, this is gonna suck. It's completely ruining everything I like about Triple Threat. And I hardly see anyone defend it now. Everybody points out the obvious that it's not good. And I'll preface, I think co-op in the park would have been awesome. I think that's a great idea. I think it would have been fun and give that good rewards. But like there's a reason why there's not a 1v1 court in the park. Like it's just idiotic. Who wants to wait all that time to play a 1v1 game? It's stupid.
Yeah.
Let alone the rewards are just horrific. I'll quickly add. I mean, the fact that they just updated it now and the rewards are still awful. We're grinding for a 92 plus where there's opals out in the game. Like it's just absurd. The fact that season 2 they didn't even bother to change the rewards. We were still grinding for league packs and that's it. The best reward on a weekday was like a what 80 plus or whatever, 84 plus. It's
Yeah.
just absurd. Like they've made it clear that they don't care about this mode. This was supposed to be their main attraction and they've completely just neglected it and they've listened to complaints all year about how bad it is, how people want instant matchmaking, they want triple threat back, and they could bring it back, but they won't because they want this to be they're similar to the auction house, their card that they can pull next year when they say, "Oh, we're bringing triple threat back." You know, it's all a plan. They know what they're doing, and it's just sad.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if you want to play old school triple threat, you could go and play it on the mobile app, and you can get their engagement up on there. So they can go and show all their shareholders, hey, look, we're getting engagement on the app and on the console. Before we move on to our next game mode, Harry, I want to ask you a question actually, because you were talking
Yeah.
about how weekly the best reward you can get, for the most part, is an 87 plus overall still while we're in December from playing and getting a 5 game win streak in park. What would you say has been the best of all the triple threat park events? And I use the term event very loosely here. What do you think was the best reward that we had to grind for any of those 5 game win streaks?
Um, I'd probably say, well, all right, well, I'll preface, we've had some decent diamond drops, like the Randall I still use on my team. Like it was fun grinding for that Randall.
Yeah, no, sure,
There were
absolutely.
there were other cards that they've given, nothing really great, but I'm sure you would agree that probably the best and most fun event there was all year was when we were grinding for that. What was it? What was the
That was
event that we
the
were?
pink diamond skull.
Yes, you
Yeah,
didn't even have
that's what I
to.
was gonna
You
say
knew
for
where I
the
was. The
Dia de
pink
los
diamond
Muertos.
skull, one
Yeah,
1000%. You know that I think that was season 2, right?
that was season 2. Yeah, that was during the Halloween. That was
Yes.
like the week or 2 weeks after we recorded our last pod.
And that to me is the biggest difference of what I want out of an event and what we got for like a Thanksgiving. I've
Yeah,
always said that
opportunities
every
for engagement. That's all we want.
100%. I've always said that a normal event for 2K, a holiday event, what we should have is I do think the money spenders should have the advantage. Like they had the
Sure,
Shay in the
absolutely.
Thanksgiving event. I thought that was fine. It makes sense. They can spend their money. But I like that the grinders also had something that we can grind for. And what I also love that 2K doesn't do often, we had choices. There were so many choices that you could have made. You could have got the diamond spoke, or was it a diamond or pink diamond spoke?
It was a diamond spoke coach card, but
You
still
could
really
the
good.
diamond spoke. There was a 92 plus option you could do. There was a legend pack that you could do. There were so many different options that you can do, which I loved, and that's what made it fun. That like Jan and I we both grinded for this pink diamond skull. I used mine for the diamond plus, and he used his for Spo. So we each were able to get stuff that we both wanted out
Well,
of it.
no, it wasn't
As
just Spo. I got Spo. I got Diamond Jaime Jaquez, who's in my starting
yeah,
lineup
yeah, yeah.
and for salary cap, and Eduardo Nahara, who also played for me in salary cap. I have players that I'm still using in my lineups today from that Halloween event.
Yeah, and then compare that to Thanksgiving where there was nothing at all
Nothing.
for grinders.
Literally
This was
nothing.
literally like arguably I would say definitely the worst event we've ever had in my team.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, do
The
you
in our,
remember we got that 90 plus overall premium pack at 11 a.m. on Black Friday? And I think I speak for everyone when I say when we got that pack, none of us thought that was going to be the best free pack that we got in the pack market during that weekend. But it was, because every other pack that we got, for the most part, were deluxe packs that gave us emeralds and sapphires. It's awful.
yeah, oh yeah, and then even those like the packs you would get for winning every game, you'd get like a collectible pack. Like
Oh,
it
don't
was
get me
so
started on
dumb.
that. Yeah, you got nothing
Yes,
out of those.
the whole thing
Nothing.
was ridiculous. Nothing at all for us, purely for them.
And
And
Harry, remember for the Thanksgiving event, if you wanted to get those MT Festival packs, you had to play, I think it was Park and Showdown. And then if you played any other game mode, you got a ball drop with a chance at getting the MT Festival pack. And they made it that bucket in the middle that was the really tiny one.
yeah,
So you would like try to do all your calculations and computations to try to get the ball to land in that bucket just to get a bronze injury and a silver shoe card. It was awful. Genuinely
yeah,
the worst event of all time.
and yes, and then they gave us a free pack every few hours that you're gonna get a gold from. It was
Yes,
just the whole thing was
exactly.
bad. So I don't know how we got here, but yes. So I thought that was the best event in Triple Threat Park, and I
Correct.
think everything else is like beyond downhill, and it's just like
Yeah.
we went from having a ladder board that you can grind for every season to having to get 5 wins for like an 84 every day for 2 seasons in a row, where those cards sucked day one. They were better cards to get day one if we were grinding for that over 80 days later. Like
Yeah.
it's just it blows my mind because I said from the beginning like this was their main event, this Triple Threat Park, beyond the
Yeah.
auction house. So I figured at least they would take this mode seriously, and clearly they don't care. Like it's
No.
just like they cared more about people being able to open their packs in the park and put it on the stupid little Titantron than getting any reward. So it's just and honestly, I was even asking like this could be a quick other topic before we move on. Like I think I was telling Jan the other day, like I was saying rewards. Do I think would have been fair? And I had a whole. Let me can I find the text really quickly? Because I
Sure, of
thought my
course.
rewards were honestly realistic and fair for what we should be getting all year around now.
Sure. And this was
Um,
for Park you're talking about?
yeah, for Park for the daily wins.
Yeah.
Here, I found it. I said in a realistic and like I would say perfect world in the sense that this is realistic for 2K and something that would make me want to get on. I think for one win, it should be you have the option of like 5K MT or like a 90 plus pack. 3 wins could be 15K MT or something along those lines. And then 5 wins could be like 25K MT or a 92 plus option pack that you can pick from. Like, I'm not asking for so much, but you should be able to walk away from 5 wins in a row with at least a little bit of MT or a option pack of a 92 plus that you can, or even or something like that. And then the weekend event, it could be so much better where there's like a 95 plus you can grind for every weekend, but you have to get a specific amount of wins, or you have to go undefeated a certain amount of wins. Like there's just so many basic things they can do to reward us, and they choose not to. They choose to make it a slap in the face where it's not worth it at all. So I mean, listen, the fact that salary cap has better rewards than triple threat, like it makes no sense. Like you can grind 2 pink diamonds on salary cap and none. You can do one triple threat. You have
Well,
to do 500 wins. Like it just what?
I was gonna say, can we transition now to salary cap, because this is something
Yeah.
that I didn't tell you in our pre-Discord chat that I wanted to mention to you. At least this is my opinion, because salary cap. I was looking forward to it. I think kind of after season one, because again, those of you guys that rocked with me in 2K24 know that Clutch Time Online was my bread and butter. I was on the game earlier this past week. I believe my record in Clutch Time Online for the entirety of 2K24 was something like 464 wins and 150 losses. Like I played a lot of that game mode. That was my primary online game mode, and I didn't really play online like I didn't play any Clutch Time Online I think until like season 4. So I waited until halfway through the year, and then it was boots to asses for
Yeah.
months, and I enjoyed that game mode because it was casual. I could maybe lock in for 5 minutes, and then that was it, and then I could kind of like rest, recharge, and I can go back and I could do it again. But 2K this year, as we all know, they took out Clutch Time Online and they marketed salary cap as their casual online gaming experience if you wanted to play 5v5 and you didn't want to play Showdown, Well, what did 2K do this season? They added, to Harry's point, the best rewards, arguably, of any game mode into
By
salary
far.
cap. And there's a reason I think that they did that. And I think it's because they probably saw a lot of engagement on salary cap from probably more casual players. And I think probably what they wanted to do is 2K, I think their mission statement this year, one of them, is to frustrate the casual player, get them to, to Harry's point, to go out there and spend money because that's the only way you're going to be able to compete. And so what did 2K do? They went out and they put these really good rewards, at least on paper, these pink diamond hidden gems, which people started getting their first ones today. I'm seeing a lot of bad ones, seeing a lot of tiny point guards coming out of these pink diamond hidden gems packs. Really nice of 2K to take Kristaps Porzingis and LaMelo Ball out of those packs, by the way. But anyways, I feel like 2K made a concerted effort this season to make salary cap the sweat fest that it is by basically, to Harry's point, keeping Showdown and Triple Threat with basically a ladder that rhymes with what we had in Season 2. Is it mildly better? Yes, because I guess instead of you needing 250 wins in Showdown, I think now it's 200 for that ultimate reward.
But the park is even worse. You used to be able to get 2 diamonds for 250 wins. Now you only get 1.
I know.
Like,
well, they're trying to market it
is
as you getting a pink diamond for 400, but I don't know why that pink diamond is not a Galaxy Opal. That makes no sense.
But does it, right? That's what I'm saying. Does it make sense why, even on 2K's part, why the mode that would require you to get the better players has worse rewards than salary cap, where you don't need the best players?
I know. I really
it doesn't make any
like
sense.
The only way it makes sense to me is that 2K is trying to, like, it feels like they're targeting the casual players. Like today I stream salary cap, and those of you that have been rocking with me in stream while I play salary cap, shout out to you guys, because if you guys are looking for good gameplay, good God, you're not getting it on this channel. It has not been good in the salary cap streets. I think I'm like 11 and 10 now in like through 21 games. It's been absolutely brutal.
Wow.
I'm also objectively not the best at this game, and I just get frustrated very easily. That's why I loved Clutch Time Online, because if I played against someone that was a crazy super sweat, it's a 5-minute game. Anything can happen, but in a salary cap game, if I get frustrated, if I'm not getting a few good possessions, and I know this is partially like a me problem. I'm not saying, like 2K needs to cater to my needs, but I think removing a game mode that was working for me, and I think working for a lot of people,
and everybody working for everybody.
Yeah, working for everybody.
Everybody wants it back. Yeah.
Yeah, but they took it out because it was more of like a convenient game, and it didn't benefit them in any way. So I mentioned all this to say that salary cap was the one game mode they marketed in August or early September as their casual game mode, and what they've effectively done by putting the best mode rewards, which aren't even that good in my opinion, but compared to everything else, relatively speaking, it is the best rewards that we have, I think, in any of the game modes. I think they did that intentionally in salary cap to try to draw the sweats over there to frustrate the few of us, the few casuals that are left.
And of course, to make the budget piece way more expensive, because now it's more of a priority to get them. They're expensive. Everybody's expensive, so I can see that point.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. That's why I'm going out there right when content drops on a Tuesday, like this past Tuesday.
Yep.
I'm trying to buy Robert Covington a Sapphire for $5,000. I'm buying Cam Reddish right when packs drop for $1,500, just because
it's absurd how like normalized it's become, getting like a Sapphire for salary cap for like 10K or like 9K.
People are bidding 40 plus K on Ruby Alex Sarr. I check his price every day. Harry makes fun of me every day.
It's just sad every day to begin your stream.
I know. It is quite literally the textbook definition of insanity. Going in, checking their price every day.
Yeah, what do you expect? You're going to go one day, they're going to be like 10K.
I'm just hoping that people won't check and someone will post them by accident for like, they'll miss a 0 at the end, and then I can get a Ruby for 4K instead of 40. But I just mentioned that because, and I don't think we have to talk about salary cap for all that much longer, because you guys know what salary cap is.
I will quickly add my thoughts on it though.
Yeah, go for it.
I will say, like, we don't even have to get into the KP and that, because you made a video about it. You can check that out. It's a great video.
Thank you, Harry.
But I will say on the only positive I'll say about my team is I think they've done a tremendous job with salary cap this year. I think that everything I loved about Triple Threat and you loved about Clutch Time, I feel like we've been incorporating that into how more so me, I think, than you, how I view salary cap. Like, I've been using it as an opportunity every game I use usually a different lineup. I think it's also really cool. I don't know if a lot of people know, you can actually like you can put in a few players into your lineup and then have 2K automatically make a salary cap appropriate lineup, or you can look up players based on their salary cap number in the Finder player thing.
Yep.
So I've been utilizing that to run like fun lineups. If I get a snipe or something, I'll use him and center a team around him. Like I've done like an all-time Warriors lineup. So like what I love about salary cap this year also is like losing. It doesn't feel like a waste of time because you're also gaining the XP or whatever the salary cap. But what is it called? The points or whatever. So
Yeah.
I sorry what?
No, I think so. You're talking about the points that you earn from playing salary
Yeah, the
cap,
points
right?
that you earn.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
like that
they're
when you
literally
lose.
just called points.
Okay, yeah, very creative. But yeah, so I like that because it doesn't feel like, oh, I lost the game, I wasted the time that I played. Like you're still gaining that. So I use that
Correct.
to my
You can
advantage where
lose
I
your way
run
to
different.
2,500 points, which
Right.
is
So
what
I
I'm
use
effectively doing in season 3. Yes.
yeah. So I run different lineups. I run different players. I it makes you want to get on the content days and find those budget cards that come out. It makes it fun when 2K puts out like a gold player with like gold badges like set shooter and on ball menace and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So I think the rewards have been solid. Like maybe it would be better if they had like set players that you can grind for, which clearly they have not been doing that.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a fun grind. I think it's the only light at the end of this very dark MyTeam tunnel this year. It's been fun. The gameplay, every game is like 15 minutes or so,
Yeah.
which I think is good. I'm glad they sped up the games more. And yeah, no, I've been a very big fan of this. I can definitely. I think the only other scary thing that we haven't talked about is how much the salary cap increased this season. So I
Yeah,
think
that's a good
they're
thing
on a
to
scary
mention. Yeah.
they're on a scary slope where if it's continuously going up by multiple thousands like that every season, like it's gonna quickly become another showdown where it's
Yeah.
pure God Squad player. I mean, now we're already seeing pink diamonds, multiple pink diamonds on the team. So I think like we could be near the end of this being a fun casual mode, and yeah, but I think this is the only bright spot in this game.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say that we saw something similar happen to salary cap last year in
But the
2K24.
rewards were never worth playing for, if I remember
The
correctly. Like
rewards
this is the first year where it's
eventually
worth playing.
got better, and I will say
Okay.
I what I liked about the rewards, and we will talk about this later. I will bring this up. Is one of the things that I liked about salary cap in 2K24 and about a lot of the other game modes in 2K24 was I knew what I was grinding for. I feel like it's that analogy that I gave of it's like that Family Guy clip where Peter's talking to
Yes.
to that freaking timeshare guy, and he's like, "You can have a boat or a box," and Lois is like, "Take the boat," and Peter's like, "Yeah, but Lois, the box could be anything. It could even be a boat,"
Yeah.
and that is 2K
Brilliant.
rewards, the RNG rewards in a nutshell, and I hate it. Even if that boat that we had in 2K24 was like this beat up, dingy old thing, at least I knew that I was getting that, Now you have people that are sweating their asses off for the last, 2 weeks for these 3 shattered prize pieces just to get a pink diamond John Stockton. Is that moving the needle for you? I don't know.
All right, but wait, all right, but here's the thing. The only thing I disagree with, and then we can move on. Like when they first started introducing the grinds every season, they triple threat and clutch and all these grinds had their players. 2K normally they used to do a good job of giving you players that weren't meta, but they were like fun, like like a Rudy Gay or like a card like that that's not going to go for an insane amount in the auction house, but like he's a good card to grind for. The past couple of years, I think they really slimmed down by giving us players.
They have.
It'd be like triple threat, grind to 100 wins for some schmuck you've never heard of in your life.
Yeah.
So like that John Stockton that you would have gotten from that hidden gems pack would have probably been a reward to grind for in South. Like we were grinding for like wasn't there like a Raymond Felton last year for salary cap? Like
Yes, I remember
they were
that,
just
yes.
giving us
Yes.
awful rewards. So
Yeah.
I think I prefer this more in the sense that like yes, you're most likely going to get that base card that they would have given us anyways, but you have that potential. Like I got a Tom Chambers, I got a Paulo or from the triple threat grind. I get that that's such a minority, but you also got to kind of remember that like that John Stockton or that card that you got that sucks, that probably would have been the card you would have been grinding for to begin with,
Yeah, I just think it would be a little different if I knew that the reward was going to suck because the rewards that sucked in 2K24 I didn't grind for. And so now it's like we're grinding for the mystery, and I don't like that. Like I think if you would have told me in season 2 if I grinded, I played I think 50 games of salary cap, and all I had to show for it was the 1,000 MT that I got per win, a diamond Brandon Jennings who's 6'1", and Mark Eaton who will never sniff the virtual hardwood for me because he has 25 speed. I would have told you I'm not gonna spend God knows how many hours. I mean, if each game of salary cap takes me 15 to 20 minutes and I played 50 plus games, I don't think that time was, at least in my opinion, it wasn't like worth it ultimately.
I feel like a good middle ground would have been like the NBA's back agendas we got, where it was like a lot of those cards probably weren't that great, but there were such few of them that you had a better chance of getting a
Yeah.
better card, as opposed to
Yes.
hidden gems where there's like so many different bad cards that you can get that it's such
Yeah.
a small percentage of even get. I mean, we don't even know if I mean, there's a conspiracy, but like I don't think any like maybe one like for all we know, maybe no one would have even gotten that KP. You know what I mean? Like, is it even possible
Yeah.
maybe to
Who
pull the
knows?
best hidden gem? Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
So
So in a way, maybe it's kind of nice that 2K is trying to like get ahead of the
lower
curve
our
and be like,
expectations.
yeah, exactly. They're gonna be like, don't worry, you weren't gonna get KP anyways, but now you know that you're not gonna get him. Um, the last game mode I want to touch on is the last game mode that's left, which I think is the biggest flop by far in NBA 2K25 My Team, which is Breakout, a game mode that everyone talks about has all this potential, and I agree. On paper, yeah, it has a lot of potential, but it has been an absolute flop. It has been incredibly neglected. I feel like we're not getting any updates. I think the only update we've gotten to the game mode that I've seen pictures of on Twitter are people that are seeing wheel spins and ball drops as the final reward. So you're not getting it
Yeah.
after every game. You need to play, what is it, 30, 36,
Yeah.
37 games just to get a wheel spin that'll probably give you a deluxe pack, which will then give you an emerald. That's It's laughably bad. I don't know of people who really play this game anymore or that game mode anymore outside of
And
for agendas.
honestly, what's not even being talked about is like even the very basic instructions that we get for Breakout are complete lies. They tell you to begin with that the higher the difficulty, you get better rewards. That's not true. They tell you that you can get better rewards on the all game modes. Yes, you get the portals, but like how many triple threat only boards have we seen where people have gotten the pink diamond LeBron, whatever? So it's like even the basic information that we were given on this very confusing and
Yeah.
awful mode is complete lies.
Yeah, and the rewards all stuck. I mean, we don't have to spend that much time talking about it. It's just
I
really
want to
sad.
say one thing though, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Sure, yeah, please go for it.
Similar to the auction house, which is, you can argue like this is what I wanted, this is what I get. I mean, Jan will probably laugh when I say this, but like this, what essentially is Breakout is what I've been asking for years. Like, I hated how 2K would do the structure of 2K. With every season was repeat. You grind to 100 triple threat wins. You grind to 50 clutch time. It's just so repetitive, which is another reason I hate the repeat of season 2 into
Yeah.
season 3.
Yeah.
But what I really liked is how Madden does, where they give you a string of challenges that you can do, you get that done, and you get reward. And I thought that what 2K could do, which could be even better than what Madden does, is utilize their strength, which is it's not like football where all they can really do is give you a field that you can do your solos on.
Mm-hmm.
2K has so many cool different modes like triple threat, like clutch time, like full game modes that they can just combine into a string of challenges where you can get your reward. And that's essentially what they did, which I was so excited for because my theory was, instead of giving us 5 different game modes with mediocre rewards, give us a string of challenges incorporating all the modes and give us one better reward. Which 2K took the other route, which was combine all the modes, give us a string of things to do, including everything, but give us even worse rewards than we had
Yeah.
before, which doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, it's a waste of time. There's no reason to play it. The rewards suck. The fact that we don't even you should get something after every win. I don't care if it's a drop, anything. The fact that you don't is ridiculous. I mean, it's such a slap in the face. I don't even know what else there really is like to say about it, but it's so bad. It's like laughable. Like the rewards suck. The fact that they want you to play 30 games in hopes to get something that's probably going to suck. It's like the only benefit is using that to do agendas, which probably suck. You know what I mean? It's just again, they're punishing us. They've made it such a awful and non-rewarding mode for the grinder and it's very disappointing, to say the least. I don't know what else really to say.
Yeah, I mean, well, basically, the whole purpose of them consolidating the game mode was, at least in the eyes of the, for their consumer, was to funnel all their consumers into one place to go and play their game modes. But as I mentioned, and I think I mentioned this pretty early on, if you're going to consolidate all the game modes, you have to find a way to make that one offline game mode
Yeah, right.
very, very rewarding. Because if you're someone that plays this game offline, and I still believe this, I think there is a large number of people who play MyTeam and only do so to play offline. Whether it's because they can't play online because they don't have whatever online pass they have, whether it's for Xbox or the whatever it's called, Xbox Gold or PS Plus. If you don't have that, or it's just because you aren't good at playing online, you don't enjoy playing online. I mean, I play online, and clearly based on my salary cap record, I'm not good. Those people have nothing to play, and 2K I think just thinks we'll give you a new domination every season, and that'll be your pacifier.
Well, what's funny? It's last comment on that.
Sure.
I won't get on it, but Jan knows I'm not the biggest fan of our great and helpful sarcastic my team dev Evan, who does nothing whatsoever. But he commented today that the reason they don't bring as many comp people to the 2K events to do feedback and all that is because more people play the game 5 hours a week versus 50 hours a week or whatever, which is kind of what Jan is saying. More people play offline than they do the other modes where they sweat online all day. And this is like the game that least is like catered towards that fan base that play a few hours a week at all, because it's either you spend your whole bank account on this game, or you play like a MosBallin, no shade at all, but you play every second of the day, to even come close to having a decent team. So it's like they made it so this is not a casual game that you can get on, after a long day at work and be able to compete and work your way up to a like decent and respectable team. It's either you're spending all your money or you're spending all your time.
Yeah. Well, Harry, I think that is a very very
Great, yeah.
appropriate segue. So those of you guys that don't know, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's been on Twitter. It's been on. Shout out to that gaming dad, 95, I believe, or 96. I apologize. I should know the number. He makes great content. He's been doing MyTeam news series, I think every day or every weekday at least. And there was this incident. I don't even know if I want to call it incident. There was this back and forth, which I think, and Harry will talk about it, was meant to be very, very innocent. I think healthy debate, right? I don't think it was anything. There were no personal shots. There were disagreements, but they were healthy disagreements. At least they were rooted from a healthy place. I want to give the floor to you, Harry, right away. I want to ask, first of all, just to confirm, are you SMS Nation?
No, I don't know who this SMS Nation fella is. He seems like a very smart, intelligent guy, but no, yes, I am SMS Nation. That's like my KD, like undercover account. Like,
yeah, that's his burner.
It's my burner. I kind of use it to, like, I'll admit, I troll some people from time to time. Like, if I disagree, I wouldn't say troll, but if I disagree with someone and I feel in the mood to start a healthy argument, I would say, like, I'll do it on this account. And let me preface with MosBallin, like, I was not trying to, like, I really thought I was making one comment to him. I was like, he probably wouldn't answer, and like I couldn't believe this led to like a full like back and forth like discussion with him.
Yeah.
Like I texted Jan like a whole video of these messages, and I just
that was
couldn't.
wild. I was in disbelief.
I couldn't believe it, and like I'll preface like I think MosBallin is a nice guy. Like I have no like. There's a lot of people in this community I don't like, and he's not one of them. Like I like MosBallin, but like I will say the way he's approached no money spent, which is something that I deeply care about in 2K, in all Ultimate Team modes, I really respect it, has really frustrated me a lot this year. And I think every time he would tweet something, and I'll get to why, I would tell Jan, and like that's how I would get my frustration out, because I just don't agree with what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was the first time I made a comment to him, and it was honestly for his benefit, because I don't think what he's doing is benefit to anyone, and it's not really benefit to him because he's losing sleep over the game, he's this and that. spending less time with his family. But the gist was like a couple things. One, I think, in my opinion, that no money spent content should serve as a guide, a fundamental guide as to how to build your team without spending money the best possible way.
Yeah.
And one thing, there's a Madden YouTuber, it's CC. What's his full
Yeah,
YouTube?
the actual
CC.
CC.
The actual CC. He has a fantastic no money spent series. He's been doing it for years. And one thing that I really like about his no money spent is that he makes it realistic for the casual, not casual, but the realistic no money spent grinder. Like if there's a glitch in the middle of the day while people are at work, while people are at school, he won't do it, even if it can make him millions of coins, because it's counterproductive. It doesn't do anything for the like what tip are you really supposed to get off that? Because there's
Yeah.
no point.
Yeah.
He doesn't play the game every second of the day because it's not realistic for the grinder, the average grinder. So he'll play a few hours a day because that's a guide. It's supposed to help people. So I thought that MosBallin spending all day grinding the game, hours every day, spending every second of the day grinding, not spending time with his family. Like, not only is it hurting him because he's losing time away from his family, he's up for days upon end. He's admitted
Yeah.
he did the domination grind in 3 days without sleeping. But what is that doing for anyone who's watching? Like, what's the point? Like, what are you supposed to gain from that? You're just seeing what it's like to spend not no money spent, but all time spent on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then my other thing that frustrated me even more than that was like, in the way most would justify doing these insane, like the Shea grind. The Shea grind was purposely not made for the grinder at all, but he spent like every second of the day streaming trying to get it.
Yeah.
Like
a whole week.
ridiculous, a whole week playing all day every day, a ridiculous amount of time, and he got it. And his justification was he's showing 2K how ridiculous it is and how much time you have to spend to get it, to get people not to do it. But to me, it's just like you're just another number that 2K is going to have in their system, a statistic that's going to justify treating us to continue treating us poorly. Because now most is showing people that it's possible to even do that without spending money, which 2K loves because it's so close to impossible. They want you to do that, and they get so fed up and frustrated by how hard it is and how stupid it is that you're going to spend money because you've come this far. So I really annoyed me that Most was doing that because he was another statistic, like I said, showing 2K that it's possible to even do it. So then they know they can not only raise the odds to make it even harder for us, but they can then justify that it's possible to do it and continue treating us poorly. So, so I just disagree with that completely. So I was kind of telling him all these different thoughts, and it turned into this huge back and forth where he was disagreeing with me, and I had other people coming to my side and defending me.
Yeah.
And then it turned into this huge like meltdown, and I think it was from him not sleeping and grinding and him just being fed up with everything. And finally it came down to the point where he was like, I'm done doing no money spent. Like I broke him. Like he was like, I'm done doing this. He was like, I'm not. He was like that friend that like lost an argument but like would continue to like bring it up over, like they can't stop bringing it up. Like all day he'd be like, oh, I lost the title of no money spent. Like and all these like passive aggressive comments towards me, and I couldn't believe that was even involved. And then when I saw other videos like the father 2K account, sorry I butchered that, very nice guy, but he was making videos. Yeah, the game
Father 2K, Jesus Christ.
I'm tired, as you can tell, but
no, I know it's okay. It's okay.
People making and talking about it in depth, it was shocking because again, I was not trying to or piss him off, showing my thoughts. But yeah, he just quit no money spent. I like broke him down. And then he completely went to all money spent, which like also doesn't help.
Yes.
Like now he's using his platform to show what will happen if you spend all your money. So I just don't get at times what his mental or like where he's coming from, like what he's trying to do, because I just don't think he goes about things the right way. Like nice guy, like works hard. I respect that, but yeah. Long story short, like. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I think Jan, it was happy to me that he agreed with all my points because it's something I really am passionate about. I just don't think it benefited anyone. And if anything, it was benefiting 2K for all the reasons I mentioned. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really add. I don't know if you want
No,
to
I think
comment.
that's perfect. I mean, I think the main thing that I wanted to do is just, I know that you had already, talked to like to Gaming Dad. Obviously, you were I think you guys added each other on Twitter. You sent
Yeah,
him a
because
DM.
I didn't want people to take it that I was just being a dick. 'Cause there were other
Yeah.
people that were being dicks to most, and they're making such underhanded comments that should not be
Yeah, no,
made
the personal
online.
shots are not cool. Like,
Yeah, about family. Like
yeah,
that
that
wasn't my
stuff is not
point.
cool.
So,
That's not appropriate.
and while a majority I think agreed with what I was saying, there were a minority that were saying, "Oh, this guy should mind his own business." Yes, he doesn't even watch Mo. I've been watching Mo since 2K17. I've been
I
a
know.
sub to him for years. So, I reached out to that guy on Twitter. I just wanted to make it clear that like this was out of pure like benefit for both us and him because like I just didn't, and I think he even acknowledged it most at the end, where after he calmed down, I think it kind of hit him where he was like, what is the benefit? Like, what if spending all day playing an unhealthy amount of 2K? Like, what's the point? Like, what are people supposed to gain from that? What am I supposed to gain from that? And I just don't think it was like. I think this burnout would have happened either way. It just happened to come sooner than expected because I was pointing out these obvious things that I think if came I just had to bring it up because I think it just would have been like this on repeat. 2K would have continued to like I think the fact that the 2K, I think the biggest thing worse than Shea was the fact that 2K did the whole thing where you have to grind to level 40 or grind. You have to spend money to get to level 40 in a weekend. So you can do that agenda to get the legend badge. He was trying to hit level 40 in a weekend without spending money, even without using
Without using
the XP.
the XP coins and the Pro
Yeah,
Pass.
for just to make it harder. Like it just doesn't make sense. And then the fact that he does that and then tweets out that that was harder than the Shea grind, it's like he just doesn't get what he's doing. Like 2K wants to hear that. Like they want to hear that they want to hear that the grind isn't as hard as it is so they can make it hard. I'm like just making it worse. That was my whole point. I should have mentioned this to begin with, but my whole point was that the way he does his no money spent is just detrimental to the no money spent community, which he's trying to provide content for. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, and I think this is what you're basically trying to get at, Harry, is that not all no money spent players are created equal. Like by the letter of the
Yeah,
law is what most was doing on YouTube. No money spent technically, yes, but I agree
yeah.
with you, and this is what when you had sent me all of those screenshots and the video recording that was like 3 minutes long, going through everything that happened on Twitter that day between you and Mos and everyone involved in between. When you had said that he was all time spent, the reason why I agreed with you is because both of those things can be true. You can be no
Yeah.
money spent and you can be all time spent. It's like, when you're answering like those those exam questions and it's like choose the best answer. Like both are true. But I think the best way to describe Mos's content at that point in time was all time spent. And
And
again,
that's what I said. I said don't label your content that is no money spent. That's true,
yeah, because
but
it's a
like
very broad
it
umbrella,
just
right?
it's just an unapplicable all right, it's just an unrealistic approach to the grinders because it just again it doesn't serve anyone.
Yeah,
So I was like, if anything, just label your content as all time spent. So at least you could justify doing that because I just felt there's no other justification,
yeah.
and
No,
it just
that was
hurts.
my
It hurts
issue as well.
it
Yes,
hurts the no money spent people who are looking at that and saying this is what I need to emulate. You know what I mean? Because you
correct.
just can't. No one can emulate that.
Yes, and to be fair, I feel like most just like anyone else that's trying to create no money spent content is they're like artists working with really really shitty canvases, right? There really
Yeah.
isn't a lot to work off of in MyTeam, right? I think some of the best no money spent content that came out earlier on in the year, and I feel like this is when I tried to even do some variations of no money spent content, was when, for example, people were trying to figure out what breakout was. I had my breakout 101 series.
Yeah.
My initial video did great numbers by my own standards. I was so happy with it and I really enjoyed it. And I even said maybe we'll bring back breakout 201 in season 2, but we didn't have to because nothing changed and the game mode sucked, and it still sucks. So that's really unfortunate. But when breakout was kind of like at the peak of its powers, which was just a mysterious game mode that no one really knew, and then shout out to Most through him and his connections, they were able to find out how to basically control what portals or what warps you get. that's
Yeah.
great content for No Money Spent because
100%.
you're
It's a
trying
guide.
to.
It's helping
It's a
people
guide.
out. Yeah.
The whole point, in my opinion, and I think Harry and I agree with this, to No Money Spent, I think for the majority of people, right? Because the content that Most is doing, grinding for Shay, trying to grind to level 40, that's for people, like, I would say in the 0.00001% of
Right.
grinders
So
in
then
this
you have to
game.
ask yourself, what is my content? Like, what's the purpose?
What's your target
But do you,
audience?
right. But do you agree with my point that by doing the Shea grind and by doing the level 40, like it's absurd to defend it by saying that you're showing how hard it is. You're still doing the grind. You're still a point that 2K is looking at. They're saying this guy grinded it without spending money.
No,
So
I
it's giving
agree.
them
And
justification and continue doing this.
I think if he was able to do the grind and find an easy way to do it, that's different. But doing the
100%.
grind and then knowing that it
Yes.
sucked and then trying to
Yes.
justify it by saying, I did it because it sucked to show you not to do it. I don't think anybody felt any sort of conviction about grinding out that Shea grind. I
Like
had
we knew it.
zero
We knew it
interest.
sucked.
It was
Right.
obvious from day one that that grind was for money spenders. A grind where you open your wallet and you take out your credit card. That's the grind, okay? Because you're ripping packs and every pack gave you a skull of some random color, right? But
Right.
he wanted to try to go and prove it. And, you know, again, shout out to him. He did it, but it's like, okay.
But then if you're gonna continue making comments that other grinds are then less as bad as that one, like you're just putting that grind, which was so bad, in a more positive light, which I think it just hurts No Money Spent in every way.
I just feel like, and I think I fall into that category of the casual no money spent, or I say pro money spent because I only spend money on the pro pass outside of Black Friday where I spent that additional $20 on the VC. Never doing that again. That was awful. But I say I'm pro money spent. I'm someone where if I were to watch most of the series, which I don't watch most that much, just because I don't really consume a lot of my team content, just because I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. And it's no offense to the content creators, it's just the game state. I really can't. I can only tolerate the game when I'm streaming it. Otherwise, it's really painful. But essentially, if I were to have watched most of the series and I were to have watched most grind, you know, that whole week for the different Dia de los Muertos skulls, and he's able to get the Shea, I feel like my final comment on that would probably be like, that's impressive. That's a little concerning that he grinded that much, and I'm still unconvinced. I'm convinced, and my opinion has not changed that this grind is 100% not worth it. I didn't need a YouTube series to show me that grind wasn't worth it. So that's the whole point. Like, I totally agree with everything that you said. I just wanted to bring up the MosBallin thing because it's still kind of topical. Like, this happened just like a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, he quit. That was like his lifeline, the No Money Spent, and I feel like I'm responsible for just ruining it. So.
Yeah, those of you that are big WWE fans probably can recall when Randy Orton was in his Legend Killer era, and Harry and I made a lot of jokes about how Harry was the Randy Orton of 2K25. He skull punted most for no reason. That was not nice. Not nice.
I know.
All right, Harry, I think in the interest of time, just because it is getting late and I feel like we're both kind of waning on energy, let's save the 2K24 comparison for another pod.
Okay.
I just want to end on two final topics, and we don't have to talk that much about them. I want to talk about.
Are we gonna grade MyTeam?
We are. That's the second topic. If you want to talk about what you want to see or what you would like to see during these next couple of weeks as we're leading into the holiday promo, we're again just so you guys know, before I throw it to you, Harry, we're recording this. It's pretty late at night on Friday, December the 13th. This podcast is gonna probably come out on Sunday, December the 15th. And so by that point we should have 2 locker codes that are already gonna come in from this 12 days of giving or whatever they're trying to market this as. So we'll see what they end up giving us, but I wanted to get this out of the way now so that you guys know that we're recording this before the locker codes come out. We don't know if they're going to be great, but they're probably going to be bad. Harry, what would you like to see? Because we could talk about what we expect, which I think that's kind of a useless conversation because it's going to be probably something awful. But what would you need to see from 2K over these next 2 weeks for you to maybe have a little bit of hope reinstilled in you for the rest of MyTeam's longevity in 2K25?
So we're saying what probably won't happen, but what we would like to happen.
I would say if you can try to be realistic, like what could 2K realistically
like in a perfect world, I would have loved for every holiday for them to make Breakout into like a holiday board where we can get Christmas trees and all these different, like I think that would
Perfect.
be cool.
Yes.
Like stuff like that. Like utilize what you have and make it into like a holiday. We should have done that for Thanksgiving where you're grinding for turkeys, and like there's so many cool things they can do that they choose not to. Like, but if they can do an event similar on a realistic level, if they can do an event similar to what we had for Halloween, where we have options, cool things we can get, maybe a 95 plus and a pink diamond coach and a legend badge, like even those three things
Yeah.
I'd be cool with, something to grind for. That'd be fine. Like, I remember the 2K19 days where on Christmas Day we were given a locker code with the best pink diamonds in the game: Curry, LeBron, Giannis, Allen Iverson. Like, I just think like they're not gonna do it, but there's no reason why on Christmas they can't give us a locker code with the ball drop with like 5 opals or maybe even like 4 pink diamonds and an opal, like but 4 good pink diamonds. Like, give us something to get us excited. Like it's season of giving, you know. Give us a good locker code, but if all it is like Thanksgiving where we get 4, like 5, like a choice, an option pack between like really underwhelming pink diamonds, like it's just upsetting. Like I think we should get a free opal, to be honest. Like it doesn't have to be like opal LeBron or
Yeah.
something, but like give us at least a fun opal that we get, like an opal like even before, like a Rudy Gay or someone that we're excited to use. Like make it fun. Like that's all I want. Just give us. But yeah, I think ultimately if we get the Thanksgiving what we had for that or Halloween, where it's like, you know, pink diamond Steve Kerr or something, and like, you know, a 95 plus pack that we can get and a legend badge, I'd be fine with that. They could do a park event again that Jan and I'm sure would consider getting on to play. Like
Sure. Yeah.
make that's what I want. I want them to make it so we're excited to play the game modes for it. You know, I'd be cool if Breakout had something, if Triple Threat had something.
Yeah.
So that
No,
would
I
get me
totally
excited to
agree.
get on because I think this game desperately needs some sort of life to it.
Yeah. It needs a spark in the worst way. I think the only thing I'll say is because I'm in agreement with you. I do think we need to see love particularly thrown in Breakout's direction because I feel like again that game mode has been very neglected as we've already discussed quite a bit
Yes.
in this podcast, and I do think we need to see a better locker code than what we got for Halloween or Thanksgiving. I think it was
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. The one that we had, those 5 pink diamonds that were all relatively mediocre. Like none of them were really all that great. I still have yet to pick my card from that pack. It's just sitting in my option pack. Because I'm never going to use
Yeah,
anybody in there. I have no
dude,
use.
it was like a week before I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that in my outcomes.
Yeah, like I didn't even remember I had it until I played that last salary cap game today, which you guys, if you guys are watching the videos that I'm uploading this weekend, that gameplay, which I have to still upload as of this the time of this recording, but that video should have gone live yesterday. Whenever this video goes live on Saturday.
But I will say I do think that we're more likely to get something this holiday than Thanksgiving because
I
so
think we
many people are
have to.
getting so many. Well, yeah, but also so many people are getting the game, so they're gonna want to get the newer people excited to get on, so they
That
open
is
packs.
true. The holiday event last year, I think for the most part, was somewhat worse than what we had for Thanksgiving. Because if you remember, for Thanksgiving, every game we basically got a collectible that we could put into the exchange. And then for
Yeah,
Christmas or for the holidays, we had presents or coal. And if you got coal, you needed 2 coal to get a present. So they slowly made it worse. Each holiday, the event became worse.
got
The
progressively worse.
problem is like they
Yeah, and that
became
was like pink time and Kobe time.
yes, exactly. Yes, that was the event, and not a chance to go and buy the final Kobe put into the game outside of the Amethyst one that we got later. Um, but essentially, what I would like to see is a better locker code with better players in it, and
We
I
should
would
be getting
like
a
to see
free opal. Like I don't care. We should be getting
a
an
free
opal
opal would be
on
really
Christmas.
nice. I agree. We got pink diamonds for Thanksgiving. It would be nice to get opals, especially given we're
Well, but
getting
this
opals
early
now
into
every week.
opals, I don't know if we will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're absolutely right. I mean, I feel like we're gonna
Yeah,
see a good number of opals coming out. Maybe they give us a hidden gems opal, which that would be interesting
that would be
potentially.
cool. I'd
But
be cool with that.
yeah, I mean, I'd be cool with that too because it's still a free opal, and it might be the only opal I have on my team until we can get David
Dude, we
Robinson on
barely
my
have
team.
pink diamonds, and we're like hoping for an opal. You know,
I
it's
know.
just. I
No,
was
it's
looking at my collections, like as a last comment. I was
mhm.
like, like I only have a handful of diamonds. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
our
No,
collections are so limited. It's insane.
no, it's crazy. But yeah, I think in closing for just this holiday event, I do think
Yep.
this is going to be a pivotal point for my team for a lot of people. You can ask Harry. My center is now an 87 overall, and the worst development to happen when it comes to my engagement with my team was I played my career and I enjoyed
Did you
it.
say
That's
80? I thought you were an 85.
no, I'm an 87.
Oh, you said 87. Okay.
Yes, 87. Yeah, I'm an 87, and I'm getting higher in overall just from playing that
And there's
thing in the
so many
park.
modes to play in that are worthwhile. The My Career Online, the starting five, the theater,
Yeah,
the rec. There's
wreck,
so
yeah,
many
all the
different
stuff.
things.
So there's a lot of stuff, and I'm already just having fun just playing my career and trying to get my badges up. Like that grind
Right?
is fun, and that's the worst thing that can happen to me as a my team player because all that's going to do is make me want to play my career more and my team less if my team doesn't get that spark that Harry and I are talking about. So I do think there is a lot of pressure on 2K to get this holiday event right because the way I look at it is if you stay on my team after the holiday event, if the holiday event is bad, that just shows 2K that they could do anything they want to you. They can bend you in any way they want. You will never break. You will just boot up the game
Yeah.
tomorrow. And
And
that's an
like
issue.
I'll quickly add before we grade, and I want
Yeah,
to hear your thoughts
sure.
too.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be quick
Yeah.
about where my team is going forward because like it's gonna be very interesting because I'm already so fed up with this game, already so bored of my team, and we're entering into very soon in the next like month or so a time period that like I get so bored of, which is like that late time of the year where 99s come out, where goats start coming out, cards with all the animations, all the sigs, and it's like hardly anyone has different lineups because all the sweats are gonna have the same cards. We're literally entering into that time period in December, which would normally happen in like March. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I really don't see how I'm gonna want to play this game the second half of the year if they're gonna continue going this way with everything's being so unrewarded with 99s. Like it gets so boring, and that's why Jan and I we love the slow pacing like we had last year, where we could use the amethyst for a while, the diamonds for a while. I mean, it's the pacing is so bad, and like if 2K thinks that they're gonna keep my excitement from now up from like December up until like or if they do 99s in January, from January up until August, they're gonna slowly burn that into goats. Like it's good for them. Like I don't know how much longer I'll be playing if this is the way that we go for the whole second half of the year.
I know. Well, all 2K has shown since, I mean, you could argue since last year, maybe even before that, is 2K is showing which of their consumers they're happy to keep and which ones
Yeah.
they're happy to let walk. And if you're not going to line their pockets with money, they're clearly showing they don't care. And amazingly, in a year where they brought the auction house back, I think it's more evident this year than it was last year, even.
But I would go beyond they don't care. I would say at this point they're willfully doing like the goal is to kick out this fan base of grinders that aren't spending money, which is insane to me. That the companies, because I think that's true. I don't know if you agree,
I
but
think
I mean
so.
it's
I
hard
think
not
so.
to with how awful we've been treated. That this isn't on purpose. So it's like
Yeah.
it blows my mind that the company's goal is to remove like we've talked about majority of their fan base because they don't even if it's majority of their player fan base they're not making money from that engagement, they're making money from that minority that's spending money on every single pack drop no matter what.
No, exactly. And I've talked about this before on the channel, and I still want to make a YouTube video on this covering my team eventually. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I have to like actually sit down and like take notes, and I want to properly make it into like a proper video. But I truly do believe that the people who play this game and they don't know life this game, the people that they play this game and they grind this game, but they don't they don't spend like a lot of money. They play the game here and there. The casual grinders, I call them the minnows since we call the money spenders the whales. I think in order to have an ecosystem where it's like a thriving ecosystem for my team, an ecosystem where the whales can feed on the minnows, I think you need to keep those minnows around. And what
Yep.
2K is doing
Yeah.
is they're saying, okay, it's cool if you minnows want to, if you guys want to swim upstream and go somewhere else, that's fine. But you know who it's not fine for are the whales because these whales are spending money to get that competitive advantage, pay to win. And they're going up against other whales. And then eventually that's just going to become frustrating. At least you would think. And
And
I
we're
think,
seeing that right
yeah,
now.
we are.
Yeah.
We are seeing that. And It's really really sad.
I see all the time where people complain that all they're matching up with in Showdown are like the best, matchmaking.
Yeah,
So
once
it's
you get
like
to tier one,
yeah, that's all you play.
Yeah, so I guess with that being said, because we've covered our holiday, I think we basically covered everything. You gave a lot of reasoning already, I guess, for what your grade is. So you can give your grade, and if you would like to give any supportive evidence for your grade, obviously you're more than welcome to. So Harry, my final question for you in our closing segment: what grade would you give to NBA 2K25 My Team now that we are 1 or 2 weeks? I think we're 2 weeks into season 3.
You know what? For once I'm gonna make you go first because I always go first. I'm curious what you have to say, but I'm gonna give you a little fire. I'm gonna throw you a hot burner right now. I want you to give 2 grades, okay?
Oh God.
I want similar to what we kind of talked about with 2K24, where there's I think an objective grade and what your personal grade is. I want you to give 2 grades. One, an objective grade, like what you think this My Team is objectively, and what your grade. Like I assume your grade would be a little bit higher than what this objectively is, because like for me, I just feel
You
like this is such a
think?
low.
Hold on, sorry. You think my personal grade, like my biased grade, would be higher than the objective grade? That's
It
what you're
has to,
saying.
because I think this is such a bad My Team that if it wasn't, like, you wouldn't be playing at all. You know what I mean? Even if you play as little as you do,
So the main reason why I'm playing this game is the main reason
unless
I
you
came
disagree.
back. No. So actually, to maybe surprise you a little bit, it's the opposite of 2K24 for me. I enjoy 2K24 in a lot of different aspects, even if it wasn't a great My Team, and compared to other My Teams, it was not great. I think when we were giving our final grades, I think you had given it an F, and I think I had agreed that it was an F objectively, but I gave it like a C. I
Right, because
think
you were enjoying it more than what the
correct.
game was worth. Which I feel like you have. I get that you're not really enjoying this game, but I feel like it's so bad objectively compared to last year or any My Team that you have to be enjoying it at least a teeny bit more than what you know what I mean? Because I feel like if you were enjoying this game as little as you like objectively viewed this game, like
Yeah.
I feel like you wouldn't be playing it all, even if you were streaming it. Like I know this is like a
No,
philosophical
no, it's true.
discuss.
That is a good point.
You
I
know what I
guess
mean, though?
in that regard, yes, I do think it does help that I can stream and I have,
Yes, you
those
can
of you
put that
guys
in
that rock with
consideration.
me in
Yeah.
stream. You guys are all like, again, the main reason why I came back. I was also, the only grind that I'm on right now, and it's a grind that's very dynamic, is my grind to 1,000 subs on this channel. You know,
Yeah.
and as of this recording, we were at I think 986 or 987.
Oh my God.
And I really think there is a chance, maybe a small chance, but there is a chance that we can maybe hit 1,000 before 2025, and that would be insane. I would freak out.
You will. I think
I
you
mean, I
will.
hope so. I hope so, but you never know. If the content sucks for My Team and no one watches my videos, no one new watches my videos, I'm totally screwed. But I guess I would say if I had to give this game a grade, I gave 2K24 objectively. I think I gave it. See, if I gave 2K24 an F objectively, I feel like I have to give this game objectively so far also an F. It's terrible. It's genuinely a terrible game.
I remember you saying you hate giving it Fs because you know it could be worse. But
I
I mean, we're
do.
looking at this now. How can this really be
I don't
worse?
think it can get worse. I think, you
Yeah.
know what? The F that I'm giving this is a more solid F than the F I gave 2K24 at the end.
Like an F
Because,
against like an F plus.
yeah,
Kind of.
exactly. So it's like you're kind of like, I guess, I don't know, splitting
But
hairs.
now look, I hated 2K24. I gave it an F. Like objectively compared to this game, I'd probably give it closer to a D.
Yeah, I
Which is
know, which
crazy.
is funny, right? Like, relatively speaking, you're grading on a curve, right? I guess if I
Right.
had it, but see, objectively, I gave 2K24 an F because I could see why it was so bad compared to previous
Yeah.
2Ks. But we're doing the same thing now with 2K25.
But
If
like
we
there
were
were
to
much
keep,
more. There were significantly more ways that 2K24 could have been worse compared to this
definitely,
game.
definitely. And I think
Yeah,
we will talk about that maybe on our next pod, for sure.
we should.
I will give 2K25 objectively an F as well, just because I'm playing 2K25 much less than I'm playing 2K20 than I play 2K24, like significantly less. Like when I'm not streaming, outside of this last weekend when I was sick and I played Domination because I was, like Harry said, afraid I'm not going to get David Robinson, and D-Rob is one of my favorite My Team cards of all
I
time.
know. I
So
really might not get him.
I know it's horrifying. Like when I
Crazy.
saw, I was like, "Oh, Harry, I'm level 17." You're like, "I'm level 5." Yeah, I was so shocked, but
As
that
of
just shows
before, I'd be
how.
like, I'm level like 20, and you'd be like, I'm level like 6.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Like the roles have kind of been reversed, which is funny because like I think I enjoyed the game much more than you did last year, but yet my level was always like lagging behind. But now this year we're both not enjoying it. If I have to give my subjective grade for 2K25, I'd have to give it a D minus. Like I really
Mm,
would. And I think it's because breakout and in general offline is non-existent. Like it's not even
yeah.
a flop at this point. I just don't even view it as a game mode. It's like Harry said, I go to that game mode if I need to get agendas done and then I
Right.
leave
That's it.
that
There's
game
no
mode.
other reason to
Like
play.
I was on my breakout board today on stream grinding out breakout agendas so that I can get that last 90 plus premium pack for you guys, which again, that video should have also come out in the latest salary cap report episode that should have dropped Saturday morning. Um, I, on that warped board that I was on, told chat I am ready to not get to all the corners because I'm sick of this game mode. I just want to get off this board. And
Dude, I think
so
I've completed like one board the
I don't
entire
blame you.
year.
And you know what's crazy, Harry? That's one more board than you should have completed. It's an
Yeah.
awful, it's an objectively awful
Terrible.
game mode. It makes no sense why anyone would play it. Even, I mean, for the all money spent guy, again, this is no shade to most. I think if most is not really playing a game mode, that speaks volumes. Okay, if it's
Yeah.
an offline game mode, and like again, that's like if you're using most, who's like the grind king, as the litmus test, as the barometer for what you should and you shouldn't play. I think he grinded the Shea grind and then used that as a way to say you shouldn't grind the Shea grind because of how much time he put into
Because
it.
you can't justify. It's like for me, breakout is like the time comparison of packs. It's like you're instead of gambling your money, you're gambling your time. You know, or you're
Yeah,
you're playing 30 games with the hope of that like that 0.1% of getting a pink diamond, which will never
yeah,
happen. We'll
because
never.
every
None of
week we
us are ever going
saw.
to see a pink diamond unless
Yeah,
or whatever. Unless we'll never see a diamond or even the other cards that you can still get from
you know
that
what's
board.
funny, Harry? The one person in my chat who ever got anything like that, he got a pink diamond, Scottie Pippen, and I'm so sorry. If you're watching this video, I forgot your name, but I know you're not watching this video because you stopped playing my team. He came into my chat like a month ago. He saw Pink Diamond Scottie Pippen on his board like 2 months ago. Came into my chat a month ago. He was like checking in, saying hi, which I really appreciated. That's why I feel bad that I do not recall your name. I'm really sorry. But he told me, he's like, yeah, I play my career now. The one guy, and
Yeah.
albeit my community is not the biggest, even though I love my community and I love everyone in my community except for Toby. But of everyone in my community, he was the only person to ever see one of those chase cards, those pink diamond, or I mean, now we're getting opals on that board. He was the only person to see it, and he's not even playing the game mode anymore. Not just breakout.
That's the
My
worst
team.
mode in my team.
It is.
In 2K history by
So
far.
we don't have anything to really grind offline. Domination is a finite resource because once you're done playing it, you're done playing it unless you're two-way dream or someone else who prioritizes rep, which more power to you. I
Instead
don't
of
give
domination,
a flying
it should be
fluff.
called like XP because that's the only
That's
purpose
the
of
only reason you
grinding that.
play it, you know? And people are like, oh, well, domination is the best way to make MT. Okay, MT on the relative sense, yes, because you're getting, more MT from that game mode than any other game
No,
mode.
it's not even from that. It's empty from like badges. Like you have to sell
Yeah,
one at a time.
that's
Like
all
it's
it is.
just
And so again,
you
that's
get
why
less MT from all time Dom or whatever that other Dom was. Era's
exactly
Dom.
your favorite Dom. Shout out Jerry West. So yeah, no, it's genuinely awful for the offline grinder. There's nothing to do for the person that wants to do hybrid, like I like to do, online and offline. No offline, so I can't do that. Online, I don't have my clutch time online. That was my biggest issue, and months later, it's still a huge issue. I would love to see them bring it back, but I don't think it's coming back this year. And I'm not gonna play my team next year. Like I physically can't. Like
There's no shot.
I can't.
No.
It's and it's like right now, for example, I'm recording this video like in my hallway, like, and I'm only able to do this right now because my girlfriend's having a girls' night out. Otherwise, like I would not be doing this right now. Like, I mean, like maybe I'd be in that second bedroom recording, and I would only do that so I could talk to Harry about this game. I would not be doing a solo podcast right now talking about this game
No.
If it wasn't for
Like
having you
like we
here.
talked about, next year it's either Mutt, I'll make a comeback to, because Mutt seems bad,
Yeah,
but it
or
seems
my
way better
career.
than this. Or like like Jan and I have talked, going back to the basics of like my career, playing it
Yeah,
online, which is what
yeah,
I was planning on doing before I got roped into this garbage game.
I
Like I
know.
promise, you can mark my words, I'm not getting fooled into any 2K. Like I've seen it. Like I said earlier, I've seen every hand. What can they possibly do to bring me in besides the obvious of, giving us proper rewards, making MT rates good? Like they're never going to do that because they don't care. It's not a priority to them.
Exactly. So that's why, going back to what I said before, I think what we get during these next couple of weeks to close out 2025, and I said it when season 3 launched on stream and in YouTube videos, season 3 is the make or break season for a lot of people. I think the people that could be broken by 2K, by 2K My Team, they will be broken by the end of this season. And if you aren't broken by the end of this season, then 2K My Team is never going to be, it'll never break you, and you'll never ever leave My Team, at least not for this year. That's my stance on it. I'm prepared to leave for my career and not play this game mode anymore after this
We'll
season.
be playing Park
Yeah,
and Rec.
which it would be great. I will say though, again, content creation for the community that we have here has breathed a lot of life back into this game mode. So it would have to really take My Team somehow becoming worse for me to stop playing the game mode and making videos. But I think it will hit a point where if season 4 comes around and it's more of the same, you will only see me play My Team on content days, and that's really really sad.
But that's kind of what you do, though,
I know,
mostly.
I know, but it's like, yeah, I guess that is kind of true. Oh my
Like I
god,
feel like you,
I'm
if
kind of
it's
minned
another
out.
season, like yeah, like I feel like you'll be like me, where it's like I love D-Rob, but like even thinking of My Team gives me a headache. Like I don't want to play it. Like I feel like you'll get to that point where like even though you're having great streams and you're getting good viewers, like even like the thought like of playing My Team just gives you a migraine because of how just awful it is.
Yeah.
It's
So,
But I didn't even give my grade.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Honestly,
Go ahead.
like
Yes.
I agree. Objectively, I'd give this an F. Like, it can't get worse. Like, all right, they can make salary cap awards worse, but it's like, there's such small little things they could do that could actually make this worse. And I gave My Team last year an F. And
Yeah.
looking back, there is like a billion different things they could have done to make it worse. They could have given us worse agendas. They could have given us worse MT rates, this and that. Like, I give Jan all the credit in the world that like he adapted to My Team last year better than all of us. And I think that if I had the same ideology as I do this year, last year, like with trying out new cards and having fun with different line, like I'll it. So it's sad looking back. But yeah, so then subjectively, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to overreact, but if Jan gave it a D minus and you're level, 17, you're playing more than me. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I have to give it an F plus, like a little bit above the F, because like I'm serious. It's like I'm not
Yeah.
enjoying. I'm still level 6, a week in the game. Like I've barely played. Like all I've done is I've done salary cap. I've played 16 total salary cap games, which what is that? Every game is 15 minutes. I've only played 4 hours of My Team, and I've probably gotten some rage quits. So like not even 4 hours in the last like week or so.
Yeah.
So it's just like not good. Like I don't. And again, we're entering into like this is supposed to be where I enjoy My Team. Like I enjoyed the
Yeah.
first half of My Team last year a lot, and it's only gonna get worse with 99s and all the other stuff. So yeah, I'd be shocked if I'm playing next season. I'll put it like that. So we'll see where we go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We'll have to see. All I'll say is if Harry ends up walking away from My Team, I'll try to convince him to at least do one more My Team podcast where he can announce his decision of leaving on that pod.
And I do want to make an in-depth to get people excited, a 2K24 versus 2K25. Like I
Yeah.
want this to be a big video where we have a game plan. We go through all the different categories. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So that'll be
I'm
our
ready.
next one,
I mean, that
I
will
think.
be Harry. That will be my magnum opus to have
Yeah.
spent all of 2K24 banging
Convincing
the
me.
drum that hey, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It could be worse. And now here we are.
And I downloaded 2K24 back before you
I
did.
know. It is so funny. It's so funny how
And
that
I'm the one that
works.
gave it an F. I was like, this game cannot be any worse. It's terrible. Like
I know. I know. So yeah, we'll work on that. We'll make that a banger podcast episode. But shout out to you, Harry. I know you were really tired. I think we've been recording for an hour and a half. This might be
Oh my
up there
god.
with one of our longest, if not our longest pods ever. I'm just hoping that we can get this whole video uploaded onto YouTube. I'm pretty sure we should be able to. But yeah, Harry, I appreciate you. Any closing remarks before I close up shop?
No, it was fun to do this again, But I mean, like, there were days where I was sniping during our podcast, and I've just been on the main menu staring at the lineup in absolute just sadness.
I know.
But this has been good. I think that like I think both of us are just it's shocking how bad this is. And I think what I said before is like Jan, I think you were more prepared than I was going into this year with how bad it could be.
Yeah.
But I feel like both of us are still like bewildered with how much worse it could have been than we ever imagined.
Yeah, I think it's become comical. It's been comical for me since the beginning, where it's just like because I have my relationship with 2K used to be a codependent one, and now it's just kind of become like my grind. Like 2K is the vehicle that I'm riding to get to 1,000 subs. I'm trying to make this game, and whether I stream it or I make YouTube videos. Hopefully they're helpful for you guys. That's the point of my salary cap report episode. I mean, that's my modification of the no money spent is, I'm trying to make salary cap report episodes to try to help you guys grind what I think is the best grind currently in my team right now, which is grinding for those pink diamonds in salary cap. And I'm enjoying doing that. And it's just unfortunate in a way that the game that I've latched onto now, at least for right now, is NBA 2K25. And it's the MyTeam game mode, which unfortunately I think is as bad as it's ever been. So...
and it's funny, like ironically, a quick little thing.
Sure.
I remember, I feel like every year during 2K, there's always a point where I get like bored of the game and I take a break, and like it's always like I have way more MT than you, and my team is way better than yours, and then I just take a break and I come back and like you have way more MT than me, your team is better. I'm like, damn, like now I got to catch up to Jan, like. This is like the one year where it's like I can quit. I can be done for the rest of the year, and the MT rates are so bad in this game, and Jan doesn't really snipe. It's like I've already, like you're not gonna catch up to 2 million. You know what I mean?
No,
It's like,
dude, I have no
like
chance.
it's already over. Like
no, yeah,
so
Harry,
really...
you're gonna come back if I'm still playing my team and you come back. I'm gonna be like, Harry, I was at 1.2 million in December. I'm at 1.3 million in March. But let me tell you, I have Pink Diamond, Isaiah Thomas, and Galaxy Opal, Tiny Archibald. So I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'm
It's
ready
like
to bring my
MT
my
is just so
toddler squad.
meaningless. It's like I'm never gonna have the best team in the game because everything's gonna be expensive. So it's like, what is there to like? It's like I've won my team. I have over 2 million MT. It's like there's nothing else to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, I truly feel like this year more than any other year, the end game of my team really is the friends you make along the way, and that's why I'm grateful for you,
Or
Harry,
the subs you make along the way.
and the subs. Well, I view a lot of I view the majority of people who are coming in and subbing. The people that come in and they hang out and stream and they comment on all the YouTube videos. You guys are a part of the Broth Cindy family, so I'm really in it here for you guys. If I didn't have you guys,
I mean, Jan had a 3-day contract. This has been the ultimate Galloway comeback story.
I know
of
the
the
Langston
Knicks.
Galloway, the multiple 2-week contracts. I know. This is what I'm doing. I know. I mean, that was the original game plan was to give it like a week and then give it a month and then give it the season. But I just think again the content creation, like I'm here for the content creation, and that part has been fun, not because of my team, but in spite of my team. Like, there's a very clear difference, between those two. It's just, I'm like the majority of people. I'm just like Harry, right? Like, the main reason why we're still here is because, like, we played my team so much in the past, and we just love basketball. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
this is the only game. This is the only vehicle that we have. Yeah, the only outlet that we have is NBA 2K, unfortunately. So,
And it's sad. It has no correlation with the NBA. There's no moments cards. There's no All-Star fun. You know what I mean?
no, there's nothing.
It's crazy.
There's nothing, because all their content was created in August, and they haven't touched anything since. I feel like outside of what we got for, the holidays, whatever. It's fine.
Honestly, to say one more, it would have been fun. This would have been the funniest year for like a pandemic to happen because 2K like they planned everything out so early.
Dude,
Something like that would have completely shifted.
If this was the 2K we got, like if we get like COVID 25, and this is the content we have, I will literally walk outside and ask someone to cough on me. Like I would rather do that and be, I should not make that joke. That actually is pretty mean. But like, you guys get the joke. That's obviously tongue in cheek. I'm being sarcastic. But like, this game is horrific.
Dude, that it would have made no difference in MosBallin's life. He still would have been playing
Don't
the
say
same
that. That's
amount of
not
those
nice. That's not
minutes.
nice. You don't mean that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know. No, we're only teasing. Obviously, like, this game is really bad, and I think a lot of people agree
Yes.
with that. And I think we all want it to be better, because when the game is good and the different content creators like like the other people who are still left, right? We've lost so many content creators year over year, and I think we're in a place where we're gonna probably lose more. We're gonna probably lose a guy like a JC2K who. I feel like every time I see one of his
Lethal, out
videos,
of all people, just put up all of his players.
yeah,
For
that's right.
500.
Lethal 2K sold, like, what did he sell? Like 100 players or whatever like that, or was it
He said he
70?
sold 1.7 million MT worth of players.
Yeah, which we'll see if he ends up coming back. But I feel like Lethal is probably enjoying putting out bait on Twitter and getting engagement on that than he is playing the game, because there really isn't anything to do. So yeah, we'll have to see. Again, we're gonna try to work on a podcast, hopefully coming to you guys soon, where we're gonna get into hopefully a pretty fun debate between 2K24
I think
versus
that could be a lot of
2K25.
fun.
I think
Yeah.
that could be like a lot of fun. And it's one thing I would really like to see happen, because I don't know if they do it as often, but I know Gaming Dad has his own My Team podcast, which is a pretty good podcast. I like it. Whenever I get a chance to listen to it, I do, because I feel like, again, those guys are on the game much more than I am.
We should have collabed with him to talk about the most.
No, it would have been fun. I mean,
can you imagine?
that would be a lot of fun to have him on this show. But I feel like because his platform is bigger, I would actually love it if you could get on his show, because you've already DM'd him. You guys have already, you guys are basically best friends. You guys are following, you guys are friends on Twitter. You're following him. He's following you.
We're what's it called? We're Oh, I messed up my own joke. We're pen pals. We
You're
send
pen
each other.
pals. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, I could tell with Harry laughing at his own joke of pen pals that it's time to wrap up this podcast. So, yeah. With that being said, no, guys, seriously, we appreciate you. This pod has now gone on for like 100 minutes. So that is pretty impressive. If you made it this far, shout out to you guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of anything we covered.
Also, give my team a subjective and an objective grade, and just see how different they are.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, give both grades. Give us the grade that you think is fair when you factor in like all parties involved when it comes to playing this game, and then your own personal grade based on your experience playing My Team. So, yeah, we both appreciate.
Can you imagine in like 2K like 26 for like, well, I thought it was an F, but I guess it was like a D, and this year it's like an F. Like it just gets worse.
Harry,
every
if
year
we're
the grade
back
gets.
for 2K26 and we're playing My Team, I actually hope there's a pandemic that only hits 2K My Team players. That's all I want.
Well, not even that, but we
Not
deserve another.
life-threatening, but
We deserve something even worse. Like that's on us. Like,
yes,
we have that coming.
Yeah, literally, yeah. If that happens, yeah, I'll have to think.
Did you
of
say we
something.
deserve another pandemic?
But only one that hits the My Team players. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Definitely. I don't know how that would work, but we'll hopefully have to never worry about that because we won't go back to 2K My Team after this year, more than likely. So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you again for rocking with us. This podcast kind of went off the rails at the end. This is why we don't record at 11:40 p.m. at night, Harry. That's why we don't do it.
I'm like tired at like 9:30 and.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's okay. Hey, look, you pushed through.
I did.
You put in more effort fighting through injury than Joel Embiid ever will. So
It might be my newly established color blindness, but all the colors they're mixing in right now.
All right. Well, on that note, we really appreciate you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you guys really, really soon with another podcast, and obviously, stay tuned on the channel for more My Team content from me. Again, we're on the road to 1,000 subs. If we can hit it in the next 2 weeks or so, or I guess this video is coming out on the 15th, so I guess in the next 16 days or so, if we can hit, I guess, what is that, 1 sub a day, which for me that's kind of hard. But if we can hit that, that would be amazing. If not, it's not like I need to hit 1,000 subs by the end of December. Just hitting that milestone in general is huge.
Everybody just make a few accounts every day, and
yeah, if you guys do that, just if you casually pass over your Venmo, I'll take care of you guys. $1 per sub, obviously. But yeah, no, seriously, you guys are amazing. Thank you for even getting me close to 990, let alone 1,000. That's huge for
I
me.
even heard that for every sub, Jan will open a few deluxe packs
All
in the
right,
in the
buddy.
pack.
All right. See, this is why I gotta find the mute button in OBS. This is getting ridiculous. All right, we both appreciate you guys. Until next time, we're out. Peace.